Imagine a battle so crucial that if it had gone differently, the entire war might have shifted. And yet, you've probably never heard of it. Welcome to the forgotten turning points of World War II. Before World War II even started in Europe, tensions were already simmering in other parts of the world. One such hotspot was the border between the Soviet Union and the Japanese-controlled territory of Manchuria. This region, rich in resources and strategically important, became a flashpoint for conflict. In the summer of 1938, the Soviets and Japanese clashed near Lake Khasan, a remote area on the border of Manchuria. The battle was intense, with both sides suffering significant casualties. The Japanese, seeking to expand their influence in Asia, were met with fierce resistance from the Soviet forces, who were determined to protect their territory. After several days of brutal fighting, the Soviets emerged victorious. This victory was not just a military success, but also a strategic one. The Japanese, realizing the strength and resolve of the Soviet forces, decided not to pursue further invasions into Soviet territory. This decision had far-reaching consequences. By avoiding a prolonged conflict with Japan, Stalin was able to redirect his focus and resources towards the growing threat in Europe. As Hitler's ambitions became clearer, the Soviet Union needed to prepare for the inevitable confrontation. The decision by Japan to not invade again allowed Stalin to concentrate his efforts on fortifying the Western Front, ultimately playing a crucial role in the larger context of World War II. In a remote part of northeast India, British and Indian troops stopped Japan's push toward the Indian subcontinent. If they hadn't, the entire Asian front could have crumbled. This wasn't a battle, it was a fake one. Operation Fortitude was one of the most elaborate and successful deception campaigns in military history. The Allies needed to mislead the Germans about the true location of the D-Day invasion. The Allies made Hitler believe they'd invade France at Calais instead of Normandy. They used a combination of fake radio transmissions, double agents, and even physical decoys to create the illusion of a massive army preparing to strike at Calais. They built fake tanks, hired actors, and even used inflatable vehicles. These decoys were so convincing that German reconnaissance planes reported them as real. The Allies went to great lengths to ensure the success of this ruse, even creating entire fake military units. Because Hitler held back his reinforcements, D-Day succeeded. The deception was so effective that even after the Normandy landings began, Hitler was convinced that the main attack was still to come at Calais. This hesitation allowed the Allies to establish a crucial foothold in Europe, ultimately leading to the liberation of Western Europe from Nazi control. The Battle of Savo Island, fought in August 1942, was a devastating American loss in the Pacific. This early World War II naval engagement saw the Japanese forces executing a surprise night attack on the Allied fleet. The US Navy, caught off guard, suffered significant losses, including the sinking of 4 heavy cruisers. This battle, though a severe blow, taught the US Navy a hard lesson early in the war. It underscored the importance of radar tactics, night combat strategies, and effective island coordination. Before Savo Island, the US Navy had little experience with night battles and relied heavily on outdated tactics. The surprise attack by the Japanese highlighted the need for improved radar technology and better night fighting capabilities. In the aftermath, the Navy quickly adapted, implementing new radar systems and training programs focused on night combat. Island coordination also saw significant changes, with better communication and strategic planning becoming a priority. Without these crucial lessons learned from Savo Island, later victories like the Battle of Midway or the Battle of Guadalcanal might have never happened. These subsequent successes were built on the hard-earned knowledge and experience gained from the early, painful losses. The Battle of Savo Island, though a dark chapter, ultimately contributed to the Allied forces' eventual triumph in the Pacific theater. Polish resistance rose against the Nazis, hoping the Soviets would help. The Soviets didn't. The Nazis crushed the uprising brutally, but it forced Hitler to divert resources, delaying his eastern defenses. These weren't just footnotes, they were forks in the road. Wars are remembered for their headlines: D-Day, Hiroshima, Berlin. But history, it's often decided in the shadows. Subscribe for more stories history almost forgot.